Okay, so like it or not, everybody is still talking about Kanye West this week. President Trump even gave Kanye a shout out and claimed that he had doubled his African-American poll numbers because of Kanye West. Now look, this whole thing could be just a big publicity stunt by Kanye because he's got a record coming out. But he did tap into something here. Now what he said about the slavery stuff is like just flat out wrong and crazy, period. But problems do persist within many black communities after decades of voting for Democrats. There is some frustration, some desperation, even some resignation that too little has changed. Now, some people are wondering if it's time to give the other party a chance. So let's just talk about it, have a real conversation. So we've got Lawrence Jones, beautiful last name, who's a conservative activist and a political commentator. And we've got Brittany Packnett. She's an educator and activist for police reform. Brittany actually was part of President Obama's task force on policing. So now listen. First, just establish some common ground. Was slavery a choice?
No.
Absolutely
no,
not.
No. So look, all right, round of applause. We agree on something. We agree?
No debate on that whatsoever.
I thought
Sister Harriet said no. It was
Sister
not.
Harriet said no. It's good. Okay. So, you know, people were mad at Kanye about his comment on slavery. They were mad at him the day before, too, when he was expressing love for President Trump. Is it now compulsory to be a black person to hate President Trump? Is that where we are now?
You know, I think there's a conversation about the Republican Party, and then there's a conversation about Donald Trump. There is fact and fiction. Fiction is certainly that slavery was a choice, but there are facts here about how he won this office that have been detrimental, not just to black people, but to marginalized people all over this country and all over this world. Calling African countries and Haiti S-holes, right? Hiring someone like Jeff Sessions, who Coretta Scott King warned us about, who has continued to uphold this idea of police violence and allow it to be pervasive across the country. So, those are real issues and that people have problems with.
So Trump has done a lot of bad stuff. The Republican Party has had a negative history in some ways. But do you think that Kanye has a point when he says that maybe we should be spreading our bets, spreading our hustle? If a lot of people are saying if we only are voting for one party, that party can take us for granted. The other party can write us off.
No, Malcolm said that.
Well, and do you think Malcolm was right?
Of course I think Malcolm is right.
Why?
I think look, let me first off by saying this, because I'm on the right. The Republican Party has failed black families by not going to the community and focusing on issues that matter to them. Black Republicans have failed the black community because there are some of them that have this genuine interest to help the community, and then there are some that don't. They see it as a benefit. I think that what we can do, a personal benefit, but there are some of us that are fighting for our community, and we have done a poor job in letting our community know that we're fighting for them.
Let me ask you a question. That's very well said, except you got people in your party. It's no longer this party is Lincoln, it's the party of Steve Bannon. Why are you not doing more to clean out the people in the party who should not be in anybody's political party?
I'm not a part of the party. I believe in my principles. I'm not a Republican member. I'm a conservative. I'm a libertarian. I can disagree with my party, and I let grown men defend themselves. But what I am about is the issues that impact my community. And so whatever I can do to speak up on the issue and to have a seat at the table to talk about the issues that matter to them. Because let's be honest, although we criticize the Republican Party, the Democrats ain't done that well for black folks either.
But
they continue to get our vote, but they don't deliver. And I think we have to have an honest conversation.
I hear this in a lot of...
when I was a young Democrat, I remember you showing up to the conferences before I switched over to the right, and we had the same complaints about the Democratic Party.
So here's where we can agree. There are a whole lot of people that aren't doing right by black folks. Point blank, period, right? What we're talking about, though, is freedom being bigger than a party. What we have seen is that the Democratic Party has been far more willing to move forward on the issues that we bring to bear than the Republican Party has. But at the end of the day, I actually think we need to be talking about how we are doing this work from the ground up, how we are making sure that it's not just who we're voting for, but who we're actually running in those seats. We know that there are lots of folks who come and knock on our doors every 4 years. And like Janet said, what have you done for me lately? That is what black communities are asking every single day. And it's bigger than a party for them. It's about their future. It's about their children. It's about their livelihood.
Yeah, you can clap if you want to, that's fine. Let me ask you a political question. There is a gap now between African American men and African American women on this question. 96% of black women voted for Hillary Clinton. 88% of black men voted for Hillary Clinton. That's almost a 10-point spread. Why are black men more open to this message than black women?
Well, I think that we have to recognize the intersection at which black women exist. We deal not only with racism, but we deal with sexism every single day. And we deal with the unique struggles that comes with being a black woman, the accusations of being the angry black woman, the idea that we're always strong and that we never hurt and that we never cry. So there are unique issues to being a black woman that make us see things a little bit different. But I think if we think about the fact that black women are often right, I would like to say, we can look at the victory of Doug Jones in Alabama. It was owed in a great deal to black women. So I believe that actually following the lead of black women is always a wise choice.
But the men, let's be clear, black men are choosing their families. I would choose wealth over poverty any day. And I think that's the opening from, I've been telling conservatives for a long time, before Kanye even arrived, that hip-hop is the way. The Republican Party told me that hip-hop was the destruction of the black family. But I saw a capitalistic message within hip-hop that they've been rapping about this for a long time.
I'm going to push you a little bit,
and that's what the black men are saying, that we're going to choose wealth over poverty.
I'm going to push you a little bit, though, because I don't think any black mama is out here saying that they want their family to be experiencing the violence of poverty. What I will say, though, is that we have to recognize that all of the answers we've been talking about to economics, like education, actually don't move racism out of the way. So what we know to be true is that a white high school dropout still has more wealth than a black college graduate. We can't erase the things or ignore the things that often conservatives and the Republican Party wants to erase, like racism, when we're dealing with these problems.
Look, I'm not trying to remove racism. Unlike some people, I believe that it exists. I contend that I do not allow racism to control me, or there's going to always be racism, but we can only control our own destiny, and I think that's what some of us are saying.
Well, and I think that's a hard thing to argue with, but then in controlling your own destiny, how do you defend being a Trump supporter now?
I don't offend grown men. I told you from the very beginning. I didn't vote for the president. I support the president because we need black folks at the table to talk about issues that are going to impact us. And so the president and his administration has been willing to talk now. People that even disagree with the president having a seat at the table to talk about those issues.
But you know and I know that a lot of things that President Trump says and a lot of things the Republican Party's allowed to go are very hurtful and very offensive to people, not weak people, not people who cry babies, people who are tough and strong, but who feel hurt by this. How can you align yourself not as a voter, not as a defender, but even as a supporter of a president who speaks this way about people of color?
Look, I tell you this, I support my values. That's it. I can't control where there are people that have these negative comments, and he's a grown man. And I'm not going to go on national TV as some black conservative and defend every single thing that the president do. I was hurt about Charlottesville as well. But I still will choose wealth any day over poverty. And I think that the Democratic Party has to answer for this.
Two questions. Can we at least? I'm trying to find some more common ground. Criminal justice reform, is that common ground? What's the Republican solution on some of these policing issues?
I hate when you say the Republican
solution. Or the libertarian, the conservative, or yours.
Mr. Jones, Look, as a libertarian, I don't believe we should be giving government that much power. My first job was working in juvenile court, and so there is no issue that I have more of a passion for than criminal justice reform.
I'll give you the last word. What do Democrats need to do to keep black support? Because he's coming, and he's got a message, and I think you might have some challenges from people like him. What do Democrats need to do differently to keep black support?
Invest in the grassroots. You just talked about the fact that black Republicans and Republicans in general haven't done all that well.
What do you mean by grassroots, though? Because they show up, they just don't deliver.
I'm going to answer. The grassroots delivered for Doug Jones. The grassroots have been delivering in Ferguson and Baltimore and Sacramento and Cleveland. They've been delivering every single day, not just at the high federal level of policy, but in people's everyday needs. We know that people know how to get out the vote if you actually invest in the black leadership on the ground. So that's Democrats need to do. They need to invest those dollars in black communities because we know how to have conversations with each other. But after they invest their money in us, they need to listen to us.